Liverpool may have won 2-0, but don't let that scoreline fool you. This was anything but comfortable for Arne Slot's team. Bournemouth, one of the Premier League's most informed teams, pushed Liverpool to their limits. In this episode, we'll break down how Bournemouth exploited Liverpool's defensive setup, Liverpool's lethal threat from transitions, and how Liverpool may have just faced their long-term replacement to Andrew Robertson. My name is Meron, a former head of player analysis at a data analytics firm, and this is a game of two halves where football data meets tactical analysis for the ultimate breakdowns. If you love your in-depth football analysis, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's jump straight into it. Bournemouth have the third highest XG in the Premier League this season, and you can see why with the chances that they created against the best defensive team in the Premier League and potentially Europe. So how did Bournemouth trouble Liverpool so much? And it comes through the use of their most commonly used tactic this season, and that is overloading the wide areas. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos analysing Slot's Liverpool, you know that their defensive setup is a lopsided 3-3 attacking the midfield unit, with Salah, Szoboszlai and Diaz in that front three unit, drifting to that right hand side, and then Gakpo, McAllister and Gravenberch in the midfield unit, drifting to that left hand side. And although Bournemouth had a decent amount of success drifting into that right half space with David Brooks coming off the line and Otara drifting off Van Dijk, it was that left hand side with Salah not tracking back. Trent was being exposed time and time again with the combination of Semenyo and Kerkez. And you can see here that Liverpool are attacking down the left hand side, and Szoboszlai isn't able to control the ball from Gakpo, and Zabani picks up the loose ball, and already you can see Kerkez on his bike ready to get involved in the play, and the ball gets passed out wide to Semenyo. And this is where Bournemouth are such a threat in transitions. You can see as Semenyo picks up that ball, Kerkez is actually running full pelt to make that overlapping option for Semenyo. Semenyo threads him in down that left hand side, just a fraction too late because Kerkez is actually offside in this play, but as he receives that ball, he crosses it into the box and it's deflected out to Brooks, who finishes beautifully from the edge of the box. It's just unfortunate that that timing of release from Semenyo was a fraction too late, but this is the kind of energy and the threat that they carry down that left-hand side. Bournemouth ended up hitting the woodwork twice, once through Semenyo and then again through Tavernier later on in the game, and even that situation led to an open goal that was missed by Kluivert, and that was at 1-0 for Liverpool. And if you put that away, that could have been 1-1 in the later stages of the second half, and then it's a totally different game. And although the game finished 2-0, this was not a comfortable game for Liverpool. Bournemouth were a threat in all attacking phases of play throughout the whole game, and if you look at the threat timeline, especially at the start of the first half and the start of the second half, they were extremely threatening against this Liverpool side that have the toughest defence in the Premier League. And if we then go to the XG count for the game, Liverpool had an XG of 2.5 to Bournemouth's 1.6, which makes it look a little bit lopsided. But when you actually take away the penalty and look at just a non-penalty XG, it was 1.7 to Liverpool and 1.6 to Bournemouth, which shows how close this game was. Not only that, this was the second highest XG recorded against Liverpool this season in all competitions. Only the game at Newcastle at St James's Park recorded a higher XG against, and this shows why Bournemouth were a threat in this game, and they'll continue to be a threat in the rest of the games in this Premier League season. But Liverpool proved why they are favourites for the title this season, and it's their lethal threat from transitions that shows why they're so hard to stop for any Premier League team this season. And you can see this from the chance that Szoboszlai had in the first half, and Bournemouth had the ball in the opposition half from a throw-in. Semenyo takes it, bounces it back from Adams. Adams' first thought is to move forward into that wide area and support play, dragging opposition players away and freeing that space for Semenyo to cut inside. And Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and Salah all boxing Semenyo, and Gravenberch, who had an amazing game, 11 tackles and interceptions throughout the whole game, more than any other player by far, and he nicks this ball away from Semenyo, and they're able to start that transition directly through the centre of the pitch. Diaz lays the ball off to Szoboszlai, and Salah makes a lovely run inside. He doesn't just stick onto the wing and make a run outside of Kerkez. He spots where the space is, drifts inside, and he carries that ball forward and plays a lovely pass into Gakpo's feet. Now this is where Liverpool become really dangerous on the counter, because they're not trying to pass their way through the team. They actually have that ability and that license to take on players and take them out of the game, which then forces the opposition to readjust and try and find a way to deal with the ball carrier, as well as the runs being made in and around them. And you can see the benefit of this in this transition. Gakpo receives the ball and he takes on Zabani, taking him out of the game, and Salah and Szoboszlai come alive. They make lovely darting runs. Salah in between Cook and Hudson, which takes Hudson away from the ball. And Szoboszlai catches Kerkez slipping just a little bit, and he makes that dart in behind Hudson. And then Hudson's totally isolated here. He's unable to deal with both Salah and Szoboszlai. And it's a lovely threaded ball from Gakpo into Szoboszlai's path. And Szoboszlai is unable to take this chance, but it shows the kind of threat that Liverpool have in the transition. And the other area that Liverpool tried to expose in transition but also in build-up was Lewis Cook. Playing as an unnatural right back, typically a centre midfielder, but he's unable to deal with the runs of Gakpo initially in the first half and Diaz for the second goal. For the penalty situation for Liverpool, it's actually Gakpo that makes a lovely well-timed run in behind Cook, Robertson finding him with a perfectly weighted ball over the top. And as Lewis Cook tries to get back goal side, he clips the heels of Gakpo and gives away a penalty. But it's a second goal, which is even better in terms of that transitionary moment from Diaz in behind. Bournemouth are pushing for that equaliser. Kluivert has the ball, tries to take on Konate, and he gets nicked away into Jones's path. And that's where Jones plays a lovely little pass into Nunez's feet, who's dropped away from that back line and creates a lovely pocket of space to start the transition. As they come into the frame, you can see the mistake that Cook has made already. He thinks that Jones is going to play this ball into Diaz's feet, who's coming short, and he's overcommitted all his energy to potentially nick the ball off him and start that transition for Bournemouth. But instead, Jones plays that ball into Nunez's feet, and that's where Diaz spots the mistake immediately and darts in behind him. And I want you to keep an eye on the partnership between Christie and Curtis Jones, because it becomes vital later on in the transition. Christie is goal side of Curtis Jones as he played that ball into Nunez. But as Diaz has that ball in that left wing position, you can see Curtis Jones coming into the shot 10 yards ahead of Christie, supporting the play really, really well. And he plays a lovely little pass out to Salah. Now, if you're being really nitpicky on Kerkez, I would probably want him to show Salah down the line onto his right foot. He instead tries to stay still, block the lines into the box, but Salah somehow still finds a finish in the top left-hand corner. But you see the threat that Liverpool have in these situations. Now make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content, and let me know what you think in the comments of the game if you watched it. What do you think of Liverpool's performance, Bournemouth's performance, and have Liverpool got one hand on the title already? Now Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes was at the away game at Bournemouth, and there's one player that should definitely have caught his eye, and he's a potential signing they could make for a problem position in the summer transfer window. Milos Kerkez played very well against Liverpool and has been incredible since arriving in the Premier League last season. And with Liverpool needing a long-term successor to Andrew Robertson, he could have just played himself into Liverpool's first team for the next decade. Kerkez only just turned 21 in November, and he's already shown an incredible level of consistency and quality in his performances. Kerkez's front foot, aggressive, he has that acceleration to get up to players quickly, and in this situation you can see that Salah receives the ball from Konate. It's probably a little underplayed, but Salah still doesn't think that Kerkez is going to get there first, but he does so, nicks the ball, and then he's able to be very aggressive, drive with the ball, carry out the pitch, and win a free kick for Bournemouth. And a lot of the time, Bournemouth were leaving Kerkez 1v1 with Salah, which not many teams do. And the reason is how good he is in those 1v1 situations. You can see from the FBref radar that his percentage of dribblers tackled is in the 85th percentile. You know, he doesn't really get beat by Salah. Of course, that second goal is where he could have done a little bit better, but he didn't get beat. It's more that ability to get up to players, nick the ball away, make tackles that he's really, really good at. But he's such a well-rounded player. He's good defensively, but he's just as good, if not enjoys the attacking side even more. And that's where he's probably going to be a little bit of an upgrade on Robertson. You know, what Robertson bought when it was sort of youthful days where he wasn't getting lambasted by Liverpool fans is that energy to get up and down the pitch, deliver beautiful crosses into the box. But what Kerkez has is that ability to take on a player, which is a little bit different from Robertson. In his first assist against Man City, he's able to drive by Foden, shifting and feinting, get into the byline, and that's where he delivers such a lovely, lovely little cross, little pick out into Semenyo's feet, who takes a lovely touch and finish into the bottom right-hand corner. But it's not just on the ball, it's off the ball he makes such an impact. That off-ball running, the stamina, the pace to get in behind and support play is such a key trait to have as a modern day fullback. You can see in his second assist against Man City, he's actually supporting play here. Semenyo's driving in a transitionary moment. And you can see he makes that lovely run in behind Kyle Walker. Semenyo plays a lovely ball in behind, and he doesn't hesitate one bit. He spots the Evanilsons in the box, made a lovely run in behind Ake, and he plays a first time cross, lovely weight to it, lovely shape to it. It's still a lovely finish from Evanilson, but it's that first time cross, the ability to support play play in behind the opposition line, which is such a key attacking trait to have. I think if Liverpool were able to prize him away from Bournemouth, it would be great to see him have them underlapping runs to supplement the overlapping runs that he makes, which I think Arne would be able to coach into him. But it would have to pay a hefty fee to get him out of Bournemouth. But if you're talking about a 21-year-old already playing this well in the Premier League, consistent level of performances, doing it in all phases of the game, from the defensive side through to the attacking side of the game, you've got a fullback that can play with you for the next decade. So I think it could be worth the fee that Liverpool would have to pay. I'm not even going to try and mention a figure before Bournemouth fans kill me, because I know I hate when people do it to Newcastle with the likes of Isak. But I would say if they're able to pay the fee that would get him out of Bournemouth, they've got a fullback that will be with them for the next decade. Now, if you love this video, make sure to check out some of my previous analysis on Arne Slot's Liverpool this season. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below on what you think of that game against Bournemouth. And I'll see you on the next episode on A Game of Two Halves.